and visiting and living there. So that was the only person I knew of that had been to Australia. So then she was there, and she met this man, and then she was going to get married. And I think that, I know that I talked to her mother before she even met this guy, and her mom was saying, Stephanie's mom was saying that Stephanie was very homesick, was about to come home. I may have even shared that information with Robin. I don't remember. Different people, I probably said, yeah, now Stephanie's in Australia. I mean, people would ask about her from time to time, and I, would just say what she was doing. I'm sure I told Krista where she was at some point, because she was a good former friend. I mean, it just wouldn't have been unusual if it came up. I wasn't reporting on her whereabouts at every move. It was just, if someone asked, I didn't have any reason to be suspicious, I thought. So she was in Australia working as a chef, and was going to marry this man. And I went to the wedding shower. On the way there, I had an okay time talking with Joy. And then we got to the shower. I really blogged about it a lot, but I wasn't. Oh, before the shower, Krista started asking me. She was on the phone, and she asked me, "What are you going to wear?" She wanted to know specific details from head to toe. How I was doing my hair, how I was going to do my makeup, the shoes I was going to wear, the dress I was going to wear. I had assumed that it was just girl talk. What are you going to wear, and how are you going to do this? And so that's what I thought it was about. And I freely shared what I was going to do and wear. I had the idea that I was going to have my hair all slicked back into a ponytail, to one ponytail on the back of my head. And I told her I was going to wear the leopard print dress that she had seen me wear when I had this Last Supper in Portland, Oregon. And that's the one where, that's the dress that I had been wearing when she and her boyfriend Ryan Barnes were laughing at me, when they thought I was too intoxicated to notice. So she knew what my leopard print dress looked like. And then I told her black heels, and told her how I was going to do my makeup. Pretty plain makeup, black mascara, bright red lips. Just sort of, And I got to the shower, and I ended up changing my mind. I decided to wear black pants, black shirt, and a scarf, a flowered scarf wrapped around, tied around my waist. Instead of wearing it as a scarf, I wore it as sort of a sash. And it was black and had a floral pattern on it. And so that's what I ended up wearing, but it was the very last minute, because I had thought I was going to wear the one dress. So I show up, and all of a sudden, here's this woman there that I didn't know. I'd never met her before. She was wearing her hair slicked back into a ponytail, plain makeup, black mascara, bright red lips, and a leopard print dress. And it wasn't just another leopard print dress. It was a leopard print dress that had the same styling and tailoring as the leopard print dress Krista knew that I had. And black heels that looked like the black heels that I had. And I thought, that is really weird. Why is she wearing the exact same thing? I mean, my leopard print dress was not really common at that time. It wasn't like leopard print was this huge rage. And it wasn't your typical leopard print dress either. And yet this woman was wearing had somehow found a dress that was almost identical to it. The last time that I saw somebody wearing an identical kind of dress, or wanting to match someone else in that kind of way, was with the Tabos. That's Brian and Lisa Tabo. Brian has the French background, Lisa has the Italian background. And I had made I had made comments about how come people were dressed the same way. Like Brian was matching the guy wearing with the khakis and the polo shirt and the same color polo shirt, and Lisa was wearing the same kind of dress as this other woman. And I thought they were going to I thought there was a dress code that they had to look alike. And I remember I told people about it, and they were laughing about it, but kind of embarrassed, like didn't want me to bring it up. And I wrote about it in a diary that I had, one of my diaries. And so the next time that I really saw a sort of situation where someone is trying to match like that was with this woman who I was introduced to, as her name was Corinne. And come to find out, as Brian Tabo is French and has a lot of French connections, so is Corinne. Corinne is French-Canadian. And her family moved from Canada to live next to Katie Fallon, and a good friend that I'd had at the time when I lived in Moses Lake, Washington, which was just, less than a block away from the Myers house. And Corinne went out of her way to befriend Stephanie and the Myers family. So here's this Canadian family, French-Canadian family, and she's dressing in the same way that this French Brian Tabo, whose family maybe didn't like me so much because they thought I'd reported them for not paying nanny tax. And Dick Whittemore is fluent in French and working against me. And Krista Schneider knows Dick Whittemore and made it obviously clear that she knew him. And Ansgar Santagrossi, Michael Santagrossi, who's Italian, he also was fluent in French and had lived in France for a very long time. So who else might be French and have a lot of French backgrounds? But, well, the Middletons. And that's maybe aside from just some of the Jewish stuff. I had thought that Lisa Tabo was just Italian, but I'm not sure if this information is correct, but I think that she has some family that's Jewish as well, which I had no idea about. So after I worked for Lisa Tabo, and then the Kargmans, a Jewish family, then my car's being rolled by this Canadian guy, and then he dies, and then I get life flighted to Utah in 1995 to be implanted with microchips. So, this is... And at that time, Janet Bechtel couldn't stand me. And I knew that she knew what had been done to me. There. I have no doubt. I mean, I didn't know what had been done to me, but I knew that she knew. So, I had no idea. I hadn't done any research on who Corinne knew and what her background was. All I knew is that the only person I had talked to about what I was going to wear, or what I thought I was going to wear, was Krista Schneider. So here was Krista Schneider. What was she doing? Trying to purposefully freak me out? She would know that I would think it's weird. And basically, I think it was kind of towards the end of the road for me, because she already knew that I was going to be tortured. My son was as well. And again, once I got back from that wedding shower, she accused me again. It was another time that she accused me of wanted to know if I'd been lying to her. She said, I thought you were going to wear the leopard print dress. And I said, I was, and I really was. I said, I just changed my mind at the last minute. And she wasn't okay with that. So then, later when her question is about, has the torture against you and your son stopped, or is everything better now? And I lied. She just thought that I was a liar about everything. She probably knew that I was onto her, and I didn't trust her at all. And at that point, which was after this wedding shower, at the point that my son and I were being tortured, she just disappeared from all communication altogether. So here I am, though, shocked at seeing this woman wanting to imitate exactly what I was wearing. I just didn't know what that was about. And then all I knew is that that woman knows Krista Schneider. So how does she know her? You know, why she was wearing what she was wearing, I had no clue, but it was weird. I mean, is this not weird? These people are going out of their way to do this kind of thing. It's just totally, if anything is bizarre, that is bizarre. So then, on top of the weirdness of what Corinne was doing with her wardrobe choice, she had a really interesting choice of gift to give Stephanie. I had also talked to Krista Schneider about what kind of a present I wanted to give Stephanie. And at that time, as I say, I was being run into the ground financially. I had no money. I mean, I had nothing. And I said to Krista, I said, I am really embarrassed to even go, because what am I supposed to do? Just give her a card? All I could really afford was a card. And basically, that's what I gave her. I ended up giving her a card and some incense. like sticks of Nam Champa or whatever that stuff is. It was the only thing that I had. I mean, I could not think of anything else. I had to use my food stamps even for myself and my son. So it wasn't like I could present this, great basket of fruit idea, or, a bottle of wine when you can't buy wine on food stamps. I was trying to think of all kinds of things. I mean, I had to have food for me and my son, and I couldn't really spend anything on my food stamp things, so I didn't. And the only thing that I had, or that I could buy and afford, and anyway, was maybe some sticks of incense. And I thought, well, they smell good. They have a nice symbolic meaning, and I'll just put in some incense with this card with a very well thought out and nicely worded note, and that's going to have to do, because I had no alternatives. But I told Krista this, but what I said to her is, I said, if I could get her, if I had money, and money was no objective, and I could get her whatever I wanted to get her, I said I would get her something from Tiffany's. And she said, really? And she said, well, what would you get her from Tiffany's? And I said I would get her a vase, a clear vase, a clear, like crystal cut, not crystal cut, but a clear vase that is medium to large, a large size vase that sort of twists slightly to the side or has a little bit of a contour and opens up at the it's a little bit wider at the bottom and through the neck, and then opens up a little bit for holding a large arrangement. And I said I would make sure it's from Tiffany's. So then the strangest thing is that then they had whoever was holding the shower, they already knew what I was giving Stephanie, and I already said I was embarrassed to give her my gift. So they told Stephanie to open my gift first. Not first out of the whole group, but at some point after she'd opened a few other gifts. She opens my gift, and it's just a card and incense. And, all of these other women are staring, and, well, they're all watching. And she's like, thank you, Cameo. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so humiliating. And then the next person, the next gift that she's being given is a gift from Corinne. And here's Corinne's gift. And it's a blue box with the white ribbon. It's Tiffany's. So Stephanie opens up this Tiffany's box, and I'm like, that's really weird. This woman's wearing the dress that I was supposedly going to wear, and then she's giving her something from Tiffany's. So Stephanie opens up the box, and lo and behold, it's a crystal vase exactly as I described to, or, glass vase exactly as I described to Krista.